I'm thinking what we do is we decide what we're doing in here, and let's not just run around like the rookies we are. Are we, well, I've let them join our team. So far, the General has been promoting them, so I don't think I have to leave these guys stood at the door outside. So let's take them with us.
Man, this beats Master Kekabus' place all the heck.
Oh yeah, should do. I mean, we don't even know what's down there from what I remember being told in training. We can't get down here apparently. Tough, massive vault-like elevator doors have been polished to a military-grade shine. Yes, lift where we come from. You can see the small amounts of warping and tiny scuffs, likely the remnants of scorch marks all around the edges. If you had to guess, the Rangers have tried everything from arc welding torches to C4 to open this behemoth, with no success. Or behemoth. Yeah, depends how you wish to pronounce that. And what particular culture you've been exposed to that said it the most. That's the thing, isn't it? Our clerks of the weather became weathermen and weather girls because that's what we saw on TV. What's this? Barry Jackson? Vargas. Guys, let's go say hello to the General. Let them know what we're doing.
Hey, Woodson. What do you hear?
Woodson? Everything, Angela. Everything. Woodson. Woodson
Welcome
was
back
the...
to Ranger Citadel, recruits.
Yes, thanks, Vargas. Woodson was the radio guy who Vargas said he was replacing so we could get more info. Anyway, let's speak to the General
Welcome back
first.
to Ranger Citadel, recruits.
Welcome, Vargas. Pardon me. A stiff-bearded older man wearing a hard-worn ranger uniform and a battered old cowboy hat. General Vargas walks with a cane, but he's not helpless. He wears a pearl-handled revolver on his hip, and there are lots of notches on the barrel. 4 and 20 more, maybe.
So you saved High Pool at the expense of Ag Center. A tough decision, and I know it must weigh heavily on your minds. But a choice had to be made, and once you chose High Pool, you did all you could to save it and its people. I'm particularly pleased that you helped Kate Preston become the new mayor over there. She's the kind of pragmatic, level-headed leader the old place needs. Also, let me personally thank you for finding Ace's killer, whatever it was.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry your initiation into the Rangers has been such a trial by fire, but you've proven yourself tough under pressure, and in my eyes, that makes you fit to be a Ranger. Welcome aboard. Now, any questions?
Yeah. Any advice for us, sir? Now we're officially Rangers, and not just semi-officially Rangers.
You are our next generation, recruits, and I want you to make us proud. Remember that every action you take reflects directly upon the Desert Rangers as a whole. We've worked hard to gain the trust of the people of Arizona, and to have them accept our authority. Keep that in mind every time you draw your weapon or make a promise. The lives of other Rangers and the rule of law depend on your wisdom, honor, and forbearance.
So when we walk into a town, despite the fact we just traipsed across the desert, do our drinking outside of town and, eating of our apples and all that sort of stuff. Don't walk into the town eating and drinking if they might be suffering from a famine and things like. Yeah, I get you. Look good. Don't walk in supping away at your water canteen if they're dehydrating. Yeah, I get you. Anyway, this robot, sir, you think it was more than a robot that killed Ace?
I don't know. Ace fought plenty of robots in his time, and they never gave him any trouble. So I'm wondering if this was something new, something worse. And if it is, we better find out. Listen, if you brought that thing back with you, or even just a part of it, show it to Mercaptain over in the armory, like I said. She might be able to ID it. And here, take this with you when you bring something to Mercaptain. It's a requisition form for some of Mercaptain's top shelf gear. For finding Ace's killer, you deserve it.
Thanks, sir. And Mercaptain. Ethel Mercaptain, sir. That's what you said, wasn't it? Who is she, by the way? Is apart from tech guy? Tech girl, tech guy, something like that.
One of the brightest minds in the Citadel. She's really helped us get our weapons and armor up to scratch, and she's always coming up with new and better stuff. Worth a visit just to see what she's got cooking.
Okay, sir. By the way, thank you for letting us into the Citadel, now that we've proven ourselves.
It is your home now, recruits. A place to rest and resupply between missions. A place to learn and to share your knowledge with others.
Okay.
And it's more than that. Despite its tarnished history, the Citadel is a force for good. A shining beacon of justice in a dark land. A bulwark against barbarism in a world of lawlessness and brutality. Indeed,
You like your big words.
it is the furrowed field out of which the seeds of order will grow
Likes his
into
big
a
word,
newer
guys.
and better civilization.
Yeah, sir, we're talking under our breath. No, we weren't.
Hey, forgive me. Get carried away sometimes, but I do believe we are making a difference despite my shortcomings, and that our flame must not be allowed to be snuffed out. That's why we need young, motivated recruits like yourselves.
What shortcomings would that be, sir? Shortcomings, well, yeah, surely not, sir. I mean, at least you know you have shortcomings, but doesn't that limit them? He says, kissing his ass.
I've been too cautious, recruits. Since we took this place over 15 years ago, I focused too much on keeping the peace in areas we know, and not enough on outside threats. I wanted to rebuild, get our numbers up, but all I've really been doing is letting the world pass us by. Well, that's gotta change, and the change starts with you. You are going to find out where this threat is coming from.
Okay. Hey guys, you know when I said I reckon we should have kept the prison as well and sent some vets over there to train the new generation, and they should have been training generations over here and coordinating the movements between both. Never mind, sir. Yeah, I'm just criticising your tactics over the last 15 years in front of your desk. Yes, so you said this was a place to learn, as I've just been demonstrating to you.
We have a library here, where we compile maps and information about the region to help us with our work. If you want to know about any old tech or ancient knowledge, go talk to old Flintlock there. If you've got map questions, see Gilbert. He's our cartographer.
Flintlock. Who's Flintlock? Let's try this. Ooh, in capitals.
Flintlock
Who's
was
Flintlock?
old when I was your
Yes.
age. Now he's ancient. Knows more about the history of the Desert Rangers than any man alive. And he'll tell you so himself.
Uh-huh. And then, who is Gilbert?
Gilbert was another one of my squad. We called him Thrasher back in the day. A good man to have in a tight spot. Past his fighting days now, though. Took a wound during the Battle of Base Cochise and never fully recovered. Now, he's our cartographer and damn good at it. You'll find him in the museum with Flintlock.
Okay. And where can we resupply, sir?
You'll want to talk to our quartermaster, Sergeant Melson, about that. He'll provide you with all the weapons, armor, and gear you need to carry out your duties in the Wastelands. You may also want to talk to Ethel Mercaptain or TNT-10 if you need something special.
Okay, TNT-10. Why?
Our munitions expert. Crazy bastard is gonna blow us all up one day. Does good work, though. In the field, his ordnance is highly reliable. It's just his workshop that scares the bejesus out of me.
Okay, and who's the other one? Melson. Where would I find Melson? Can you tell us anything about them?
Nelson's all right. A bit young, a bit rowdy, a bit gung-ho. But the Rangers need that now. We need new blood, like yourselves.
Okay. And anything else that you can tell us about Ace, sir, now that we've found his killer?
Ace and I went way back to the prison days. We fought Finster and the base Cochise robot army together. We rebuilt the Citadel from scratch. That I sent him on the mission which got him killed hangs heavy on my heart, and Angie's never gonna forgive me.
Yeah. You know Angie well, sir?
Well enough not to talk behind her back when she's standing right in front of me. Hey Angie, how you holding up?
Better now, General. I'm only crying 8 hours out of every day now, instead of 16.
Ain't no shame in grieving, Angie. No shame at all.
To be fair, General, we didn't want you to talk behind her back. We just wanted you to say, yeah, you knew her, you know. You tooted around together and shot up hive pool together and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, while I want that sort of information out here, bit of history about the place, about the people we've joined, because I don't really want to walk into the next town with everybody hating us because of what you and the previous generation of Rangers that actually went out and did anything got up to. No offense. Can you tell us some more, like what you and Angie and all the rest of them happened to be up to at base Cochise, did you call it?
Place was nearly the death of us. Hell, it was nearly the death of the whole human race. Damned malevolent mainframe churning out an endless army of robots. If we hadn't stopped it, well, I hate to think.
Okay. You mentioned somebody called Finster, didn't you? Was he a ranger or someone you had to deal with?
Craziest jackalope we ever faced.
Okay, so when you get out with
human once, might have been sane too. But when we met him, he was a crazy android bent on wiping out the human race and replacing us all with mutants. Got his head in our museum if you want to take a look.
He was an android, and you got his head. How do you know he might have been human? Because if he was an android, he shouldn't have been any human, shouldn't he? Shouldn't. Or was it? I don't know. Wouldn't he have been cybernetic if he still had human parts, not an android? Or is there such a thing as a cybernetic android? Android's one of those funny words, isn't it? Yes. Okay. And who's this Woodson you keep talking about, sir? Angie's just said hello to him, and you said something about he did the radio. Is it this guy over here who replied? I'm gonna assume so.
Woodson's that man right over there.
Right, thank you.
My radio wingman. The man who keeps me on the air. If you want to know more about the repeater units, or how to use your radio, see him.
Okay. Thanks for that, sir. If we decide to go to the prison next, we'll ask you the details then so we don't forget them.
Make us proud, recruits.
Yep.
So, this is the General's office? Man, he must be the most important person in the world.
Just the most important person in the world that we have access to at the minute. And by important we mean powerful.
Welcome
and
back
influential.
To Ranger Citadel, recruits.
He's looking at you, Angie. Was it? It was yes, Mr. Woodson. Okay, Sergeant Wade Woodson, one of the most technically minded members of the Rangers. He's wearing a makeshift pair of glasses and is starting to grey at the temples. You've been here a while then, have you, mate?
Welcome, recruits. Nice to finally make your acquaintance. Good work saving the day and attaching the repeater units in High Pool. The General and I thank you. Now I'm guessing you're here to learn more about these mysterious broadcasts that you've been helping us with.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about these broadcasts then.
We don't know where they're coming from, or who's making them. Hell, They could be old pre-war recordings for all we know. But we've been hearing them since the skies started to clear. And they've got a threatening sound to them, so we've been trying to learn more about them. Which is what we sent Ace out to do when that robot murdered him.
True.
Now you've already attached one of our repeater units to the radio tower at High Pool. But because you were unable to do the same at Ag Center, we're in a bit of a bind. See, we intended to make a Watson-Watt Adcock antenna array using those two towers. Our tower here, and the tower where Ace died. Linking those four would have allowed us to pinpoint the origin of the signal. Now, however, we're going to have to try to find the radio tower the General already mentioned to you in Damanta. If it even exists.
Okay. Got all that good. Yes. Well, I don't think they're going to be pre-war, mate, because we've heard them and they're talking about the Rangers. And we didn't start up until after the war, did we? So, yeah, but the skies being clearing up, you're saying, is that something to do with the radiation?
Well, it's only a theory, but my guess is that the fallout that's been floating around up there in the ionosphere since the war has been muddying things up there.
Right.
Stopping long-range broadcasts from being reflected back to Earth. Now, maybe the fallout is starting to decay, and the ionosphere is slowly returning to normal, allowing it to reflect radio waves like it used to back in the good old days. Or not. I only know what I read in salvage books.
So we're relying on more short-range radio signals that travel along the surface of the Earth and can be blocked by mountains and such. Okay. Whatever caused it, we're definitely picking up more distant radio signals these days than we were able to even 3 months ago. Yeah, okay. So we're getting higher and higher radio waves available to us now in the atmosphere. Okay. So these repeater units, yes? We attached one at High Pool, and you know about that. But I'm assuming you must know about that because you're in the office with the General. I mean, he's talking to us, but you're still operating the equipment. You must hear it.
I'm so glad you were able to save High Pool. Its reservoir and treatment plant provides water for us and the other communities in the area.
Yeah, it was a water versus food argument that I had to go with, mate. Okay. And this Ag Center, what do you know about what happened there? We only heard snippets. Did you get more radio signal than us? Did they tell you more about what went on? We know that there was weird mutations and people being dissolved by plants. Like, what was her name? Okay, Kathy, wasn't it? I think. Poor woman. Told us to go forth and fornicate. You know, go forth and multiply. Yeah, but did you hear any more from Ag Center than we did?
I'm very sorry you weren't able to save Ag Center. They were doing so much to develop hardier animal and plant stock that would survive out here in the wastes. It's a real blow to have lost them.
I know. Okay. And these repeater units, these are the ones that we picked up, Ace fitted. There's one here, I assume, because you said something about here, Aces. The one we put in High Pool. We got one left, which was going to go to the Ag Center, but that can't happen now. So yeah, that's why you were talking about dim motor, wasn't it? But anyway, these repeater units, how are they altering your radio signals?
We use the repeater units to boost a weak radio signal out in the field and transmit the data back to the Citadel. And let me tell you, it was hell trying to find enough parts to make the ones we needed. Which is why I'm so glad you were able to find the ones Ace was carrying.
Okay, so they repeat the signal. They don't alter it. They repeat the signal to make it stronger. Okay. And that's how they boost the signal, which means that longer range signals are reaching us, or shorter range signals. No, you said the skies are clearing. So long or medium range signals just outside of our range are just about reaching us now because the skies are getting thinned out from the radiation fallout. But they're not reaching us enough that we can't figure out which direction the wave's coming from without creating a 4-point map to be able to get a reference on the direction of the radio wave. Therefore, we need the repeater units to boost the strength of the signal to see which direction it's travelling, like wind when they do wind reports for ships. Or they used to do wind reports for ships. It's a British thing. We used to get told that at our school in our town. Okay. Yes, sorry, I'm babbling. So you want us to put the last one at Demoter, and you've heard of this place?
I've been hearing the Red Scorpion's radio chatter about this place for more than a year now. They claim it's somewhere beyond the eastern radiation clouds. I hope they're right. The radio tower that Gilbert says is rumored to be there could be our only hope for tracking down those mysterious broadcasts.
Okay. And my team are going to hate me for this, but what's a Watson Watt Adcock antenna array? Is it what I think it is? It's some kind of mapping system for figuring out the direction of a radio wave.
You sure you want to hear this? Most people's eyes glaze over when I start getting technical.
As long as you don't mind me pouring out some more of my flask and having a sip while you talk. Go ahead.
Really? Okay. You asked for it. So with the traditional Watson-Watt method of radio direction finding techniques, it is possible to find the direction from which a radio signal was transmitted using two Adcock antenna pairs to perform an amplitude comparison on the incoming signal. An Adcock antenna pair is a pair of antennas that take the vector difference of the received signal at each antenna so that there is only one output from the pair of antennas. Two of these pairs generate what can be referred to as north-south and east-west signals, which will then be passed to the receiver.
Oh yeah?
In the receiver, the bearing angle can be computed by taking the arctangent of the radio of the north-south to east-west signal. Given any four antennas of a known distance from each other, this method can establish a very accurate directional vector on an incoming signal.
Okay.
Satisfied?
Yes. So what you're saying is we have triangulation between 3 of the 4 repeater units in a square, but you do a triangulation at each one. So what? So the radio tower where Ace was would have a line coming here, and then a line going to the ag center of the high pool, and then that would create a triangle. And then if a signal was coming from outside of the arc of that triangle, the arc angle was it you said? Then we know it's not in that direction because the signal's outside of the range it should be, because it's weaker than it should be. But then you take a triangle off one of the other towers, pointing at 2 of the other towers, and if it's inside that, we know it's in that direction. And if you do that for 4 of them, you get an idea of which direction it's coming from. Yeah? I think. No? I was drinking. Okay. Well, it's nice meeting you. Nice meeting the General and the guys and girls with the big guns. What do you think of the General?
Well, I'm not going to say anything bad about the General when I'm sitting right next to him, am I?
I'm not going to say anything bad about him while he's got those 2 stood there with those weapons.
You better not, Woodson. I'll take away your smokes ration.
See? But seriously, I think the General has been a wise and cautious leader these past 15 years. Some of the boys may think he keeps it a little too cautious, but they're not the ones who have to field the calls when good men die.
Sorry, I was drinking again.
Since we started hearing these strange broadcasts, he decided that the quiet times are over, and his place is here, on the air, listening to the people of the wastes and sending his troops into battle.
What do you mean by quiet? Him being quiet on the radio, or the Rangers being quiet in our activity?
Well, we spent the 15 years since we defeated the base code chief's AI retrenching.
Oh,
rebuilding the
okay.
Citadel, rebuilding our numbers, solidifying our position. It made us a stronger organization. I think. But we also have a smaller footprint now. And some of the places we used to patrol have kind of fallen off the map.
Okay.
Now, though, I think it's time to wake up. The world is changing. These crazy broadcasts, the Red Scorpions in the old prison, reports of trade routes to the east, where we thought there was nothing but radiation. If the Rangers still want to be a force for good in the world, then we gotta start stepping out beyond our own backyard.
Okay. Yes, I get you. That's why I think we should have kept the prison. What do you think?
Our old home base. Not bad for what it was.
See? See what I mean?
But we've been outgrowing it for decades.
Yeah, but we'd leave a trainee
When we
section
cleared the
there.
previous owners out of this place, we saw an opportunity to make a move.
Who were the previous owners out of this place? Anyway, who were the Red Scorpions too?
The Red Scorpion Militia.
Yeah,
They
I
took
know
over
that
the
much.
old
Do you know
prison when
anything
we
about
moved out.
who they are? Are they
Not
just
really
gangs?
much more than a raider gang.
Okay.
But they're starting to tell everybody that they're the real law in Arizona. And they're asking people to call them for help instead of us. Maybe they're really trying to shape up. But I doubt it. Sounds more like an old-fashioned shakedown scheme to me.
Yeah, soldiers who are already dedicated to protection are going to find it easier to transition to a police force. Despite the fact that, soldiers fight enemies of the people, whereas the police protect the people, and you can't get them mixed up, otherwise you start fighting the people. But it is easier to switch those roles when you're already making moral decisions than it is to go from raping and pillaging to, yeah, we're going to look after you now. So yeah, I can see what you mean. Anyway, what's this AI thing, yeah? People keep telling me it was some sort of malfunctioning computer spitting out robots, but where's base called Cheese?
It was the Rangers' greatest enemy. Though really all it was a malfunctioning machine. The mainframe of a pre-war military facility that somehow got it into its circuit board head that everybody in the world was its enemy. It started pumping out robots to defend itself. And if we hadn't stopped it, those robots could have killed everyone in Arizona.
Okay, and you're talking about the east, yeah? East of the radiation clouds, I assume.
We always thought the radiation east of the prison was just too strong, and that travel that way was impossible. But now the Scorpions are claiming they've established trade with a community beyond the radiation called Damanta, and also with a group calling themselves the Servants of Titan. We're not welcome in Scorpion territory, so we can't check the truth of all of this. But they do seem to be getting better weaponry from somewhere, so maybe it's legit.
It probably is.
All right. Good luck out there. You'll be hearing from us. Well, you saved Highpool from the wreckers, but I don't think they're gonna be calling us anymore. Vargas isn't pleased.
What? What do you mean Vargas isn't pleased? We saved Highpool. We put Kate Preston in charge. What?
Back again, recruits? What can I help you with?
Get by?
All right. Good luck out there. You'll be hearing from us.
I think you've been hearing too many of the wrong things. We saved Highpool from the wreckers. And we cheered everybody up there. We've done multiple things to get that town on side.
What comes after the end?